everybody. Hey! What's up, everybody? Welcome to Cocktails in the War Room, episode 188. And we are on deployment and we are live in Key West. Can you guys see me okay? Can you guys hear me okay? Yeah, those are palm trees. Welcome to the show. If you are new to Cocktails in the War Room, welcome. Normally we do the show every Tuesday night at 8:30, live from a room in my house that is in fact called the War Room. It's where I keep all of my military memorabilia, my family's military memorabilia, and it's also where the bar is. And so this show started way back on March 14th of 2020 at the very beginning of the pandemic. We did 80 shows in a row every night at 8:30. And then when we launched the Mistress Carrie podcast, which was just over 2 years ago, by the way, we turned Cocktails in the War Room into a weekly show, and we get together every Tuesday night, normally live in the War Room. But I took you guys on a very special trip with me, and I am live in Key West, and it is hot. And when I tell you sweaty, I'm sweaty. It is hot down here. How are you? What's up, Bobby Lynn? She said it looks good on you. What's up? Ash is here. Mark is here. Don is here. What's up, Jonathan? Keith, Joe, Elsa, Kathy is here. Michelle. Michelle says she's got exciting news. That's fantastic. Ryan joining us here in the War Room. So we are live for episode 188 of Cocktails in the War Room. And I actually, yes, the swoop level, not even kidding, down here all week has been like a 9.5. It's so freaking hot. If I don't lose 20 pounds while I'm down here, it's ridiculous. Tracy says, hi, Mr. C and family, Blueberry Cobbler. I got so much to tell you guys. It's going to be a little bit of a non-traditional show. And I am warning you guys that there is no power anywhere where I am. So when the battery on the computer is dead, the show's over. So I got to talk fast. What's up, Marcy, Carol, Lisa, Erica joining us. What's up, Erica? So I want to let you guys know what's going on. Keith and I are going to be grandparents. Michelle, congratulations. That is so awesome. Congratulations on the grandbaby to be. That is awesome. Cheers, by the way, guys. It's so friggin' hot. It's literally like, if it's 85 degrees with 95% humidity, I'm not even kidding. I have not been able to stop sweating since I got here. All right, I have so much to talk to you guys about. First of all, thank you guys for joining me tonight and every Tuesday night. I will let you know that my husband and the kids are here with me. And this is kind of a family vacation, but it's also something really cool. And I want to tell you about the organization that's putting the event on that we are attending. They just had an auction and dinner, which if you've ever been to Key West, we're in Old Town Key West, down by Mallory Square at the end of Duval Street, just amazing all the way around. And Harry Truman, President Truman, when he was president, spent a lot of time in Key West the way that the Bushes spent time in Kennebunkport. And so Truman had what he called the Little White House, or the Truman White House, here in Key West, which is now a tourist attraction. Beautiful old Key West home. But they also rent it out and do functions there. And I am down here attending an event with an organization called Task Force Dagger. And Task Force Dagger is an organization, and I want to read you the different work that they do. But they basically are there to support the special operations community and our special operations warfighters and their families. And one of the things that they do is adaptive sporting events. And they're having what they call Dagger Dive 2022. And so if you go on taskforcedagger.org, you can read all about the organization. You can also buy their merch. You can make donations. Task Force Dagger, according to the official description on their website, is a special operations foundation providing assistance to wounded, ill, or injured U.S. Special Operations Command members and their families. They respond to urgent needs, conduct rehabilitative, adaptive events, and provide next generation health solutions for issues facing our service members. As a veteran operated nonprofit, they understand the needs and experiences of the Special Operations Forces community. Each program is designed to heal, rebuild, and strengthen the service member and their family by providing mission, purpose, and focus. So they have that broken down into 3 categories. The first is immediate needs. So obviously, if there is a member of the Special Operations community that, say, is deployed and a pipe bursts in their house and their wife and kids are home, those kind of immediate needs. The second, which is what this is a rehabilitative adaptive event. And because so many members of our Special Operations community have scuba diving in their list, in their skill set, they know that it's an event that they love. It's obviously great to get you outdoors. You have to be sober to do it. It's something that no age kind of keeps you or limits you from being able to do. And it's also something that you can share with your family members. And so what they do is, if there's a Special Operations warfighter still active or retired, they will bring you and certify you as a scuba diver. And they use a lot of the military facilities that are already down here. There's a lot of Special Operations training, there's pools here, but they also invite your family. And so if your wife and kids want to get scuba certified, they put you all in the class together and then take you out scuba diving as a family to give you bonding experiences, to introduce you to other Special Operations families, and to give you a hobby and a bonding experience that you can then take home with you and something that you can share with your family and be able to do carrying on. The third thing they do is a health initiative, which is something I sat in on a health seminar today and really learned a lot about how it is, especially with our Special Operations community, the different things that they're exposed to and the different health issues that they have because of that specialized training. They are, deployed so much. They are deployed in places where hazardous materials, nuclear waste, it's not just burn pits, but we're talking about exposure to high levels of radiation, different kinds of munitions, repeated exposure to specialized rocket technology, explosions, things that even our active duty military members do not have the prolonged exposure to that the special operators do. And they talked a lot about the symptoms and what prolonged exposure to some of the different rounds, the rockets, the jet fuel, the burn pits, the countries that they have seen action in that maybe our active duty military hasn't, and the waste that has been left behind by those conflicts that is specialized to the Special Operations community. And they talked about the side effects of that service, the specialized cancers, and how all of that goes into their overall wellness, and how a lot of times the Special Operations community is misdiagnosed. And what they'll do is they'll have 6 different symptoms and they'll treat all 6 symptoms individually, as opposed to trying to find the root cause, which could be an inner ear issue. It could be repetitive exposure to concussive events, and it could be something where they've been exposed to chemicals where there's a certain kind of cancer, or they've had so many concussive events that it's a neurological issue. And so the real specialized health situations that our Special Operations community face, and how to get these things diagnosed before they retire, and for people that have already retired to get them back into the fold and get them treated, diagnosed, and moving forward to combat everything from alcoholism, suicide ideations, anything like that, to make the quality of their overall life better, because they talked about things like divorce rates, that they're deployed so much they're not around their kids as often as they should be. And the fact that there is, just because they have the kind of job that they can't talk about a lot, that they're away from their families so much that there are a lot of people, even within the military themselves, that just don't have any idea how to treat them or what their deployment tempo has been like. And so it doesn't even dawn on the caretakers that there could be things wrong with our warfighters that they just don't even know how to diagnose. So I have learned a lot over the last few days, but this organization, this is their logo right here. They have social media people that are here. They're using the hashtag DaggerDive 2022 that you can go in and see just how they run this program. It's amazing. They fly families in from all over the country. They have organized events that have everything from family therapy to medical clinics. They have bonding for just the warfighters. They have things for the couples. They have daycare for the children that do not want to scuba dive. There is a whole schedule of events, and the way that the Key West community wraps their arms around this event is unlike anything I've ever seen. So in the welcome packets for the families, they get gift certificates to area restaurants for the nights that food is not provided, to be able to go into Key West and to be able to eat at really nice restaurants. A lot of the different tours, the famous conch train, the aquarium, the shipwreck museum, there are so many different attractions that donate tickets. So the families, when they get down here, need to pay for very little. The scuba diving equipment is covered. The scuba boats covered. All of the specialized training, the ground transportation, everything is covered so that the special operations family, the operators, their wives, their kids, can come down and for the first time in a long time, have a family vacation and need nothing other than money to buy Christmas ornaments and to take pictures and just to buy souvenirs. And this organization that I had never really even heard about before coming to this event just does amazing work for people that have been through so much and because of the nature of their work really can't talk about it. And so it's been unbelievable. Joe says Task Force Dagger rules. They're just unbelievable. And one of the things that they have down here is they bring medical staff. And you guys know that I have been going through extensive physical therapy for my shoulder. And I knew that I was going to be gone for a week and I was not going to be able to keep up with my own physical therapy regimen. And they have a physical therapist here. So I've been going through physical therapy while I've been down here so I don't get myself off course. Now I will tell you that one of the things that the physical therapist did is they asked if I was interested in doing some different therapies for my shoulder. I don't know if you guys have ever done cupping before, but they've been treating my shoulder and they were like, these might leave marks, is that okay? So I just want to put it on the record that I did not have a sexual liaison with an octopus, but I'm pretty marked up. But the physical therapist is amazing, and this whole event is just unbelievable. We just left a silent auction and this amazing dinner that they had at the Truman White House, and I wanted to come back to hook up to the Wi-Fi to be able to do the show and to be able to tell you guys about this unbelievable organization. Bobby says it's a phenomenal event, real and empowering, and touches wonderful human being and the human element. It really is. You know, there are so many different organizations that are doing amazing work for our veterans, and a lot of them are specialized based on the branch, based on the ailment or the specific needs, whether it's adaptive housing, whether it's post-traumatic stress, prosthetics, service dogs. There are just so many unbelievable events, and you always wonder when you are donating money to an organization about whether or not the organization is run well, whether or not it's legit. People donating hard-earned money, especially now more than ever, you want to make sure that when you're making a donation that it is going to the right people and that it's legitimate. And what I've learned this week has just been second to none. There are families here that came down as recipients that return every year now as volunteers. They come down and this is their family week vacation, and they come down and they supply the ground transportation. They stay on the military base. They run the daycare for all of the little kids so that the kids can be here with their parents, but their parents can do the scuba diving and come home and know that their kids have been taken care of. The volunteers are just constantly setting things up and organizing things, keeping everything on schedule, organizing the health clinics. And so many of them are veterans that at one time were helped by the organization that are now coming back to give back to the organization. And it's pretty powerful stuff. Purple polka dots, says Shannon. Lucky octopus, they are big ass hickeys, seriously. Brito says Carrie getting her freak on in Florida. I'll tell you, my shoulder feels amazing. I have one, possibly two more appointments with a physical therapist while I'm down here. And we were just talking about the struggles that I've had with my shoulder, and she's just been amazing. She said I'm ahead in my physical therapy, which made me feel really good because sometimes, as anyone knows, when you're, I can't stop sweating. Anybody that has ever had a serious injury, you know that you can get down sometimes because you're not recovering fast enough and you feel like all the hard work that you're putting in isn't paying off. And so for her to tell me that I'm ahead of schedule with my recovery based on when I started going to the doctor for this, that made me feel really good. So I wanted to take you guys at least on a little bit of the trip. I can't show you everything, obviously. There's a lot of people that are on this trip that have asked not to be photographed for obvious reasons because of the nature of their jobs. They're still active duty. But I wanted to be able to show you guys, so let me show you this. So this is just some walking around Old Town Key West. There's this old brick building that I believe was a tobacco storage house and at one point, but I thought it was really cool. I took this picture because the bricks were laid by Irish bricklayers from Boston. Up here is just this giant oversized chair. My stepson actually took this picture of me as he and I were walking around. We went on a sunset cruise last night that they had just for the special operations families and all the military volunteers, and they were the only people that were allowed on the boat, and it was open bar and fully catered, and they had music and a steel drum player, and they sailed us around. And I don't know if it was a full moon last night or if it's going to be full tonight, but the sun going down on one side and the full moon coming up on the other, the kids just loved it, and it was really, really cool. So I don't know if you've ever been to Key West. It's one of my favorite places in the world. I absolutely love it. I've never been here in June. It's really fucking hot in June. So let me just tell you that. Did you see the polydactyl cats? So Hemingway had six-toed cats, and his mansion where he lived is a museum now, and the cats are there. And we are going there this week, so I have not been to his mansion yet. But when we took the conch train tour, which we did today, we learned a lot about the history of Key West. Fascinating story. And one of the things, if you've ever been to Key West, the chickens, and if you've never been to Key West, they run around like pigeons and squirrels here. There's just cats that all have six toes, and there are just wild chickens and roosters running around that are all protected by the government, by the way. The chickens were owned by Cuban immigrants that came to the Keys to roll cigars back in the day. I learned all this today on the tour. And I believe it was in the early 1900s, they were used for cockfighting because the Cubans used to gamble on them while they were here rolling cigars. And the government of Key West finally outlawed cockfighting. And the Cubans were so mad that they let all of their chickens and roosters loose on the island. And so not only are they not good to eat, but the chickens that are now protected here in the Keys are the descendants of the winning cockfighters. So these chickens take no shit, and they are everywhere, and they don't give a fuck. And if they cross the road, you got to stop because, like I said, they're protected. First offense, if you touch a chicken or go near a chicken, $500 fine by the city. So I have not seen the cats yet, but we're going to Hemingway's house. That's one of the things that's on the to-do list. So we're definitely going. Let's see. Never been there. I need to get down there one of these years. Kim, let me tell you, I'm going to be here a week. That's a long time. That's like staying in Vegas for a week. Like 4 or 5 days. If you're into the party, great. If you are into fishing, if you are into sailing, if you are into scuba diving, and you're going to do those activities, which a lot of those forced you to stay sober, you can come down for longer. But if you're coming down here to party, I've come down so many times for friends' weddings. It's hard to be down here just to party for a week because especially this time of year, it's really hot and it's exhausting. But it's an absolute blast. The people are so sweet. We've met people from all over the world. There's so many people that come here from around the world just to work because it's so beautiful. But yeah, it's a lot. God, I can't stop sweating. But the Conch Train tour was fascinating. They talked all about the different storms, the fires, the natural disasters. They call it the Conch Republic because there was a blockade put up by the government on Route 1 coming out of the Keys years ago because they were trying to catch illegal immigrants. And they blockaded the road to get to Key West for over a year, which killed tourism on the islands. And the mayor of Key West staged, they declared themselves a republic. They seceded from the Union, the city of Key West, and they went to the military base and they declared war on the US military, and they threw stale Cuban bread at them for 1 minute and then surrendered. And so if you've ever come to Key West and you see the airport and it says, "Welcome to the Conch Republic," because back in the day, they seceded from the Union for 1 minute and declared war. And 2 weeks after they did that, which was a demonstration to show how unhappy they were with the government, after a year blockade, 2 weeks later, they opened Key West back up to tourism. And so they are very proud of that history of protest. And so if you are born and raised here, you are Conch. And if you have lived here more than 7 years, you're what they call a freshwater Conch. And so I learned a lot about Key West. It's been pretty cool. Paula says, celebrating my daughter's 30th in the Keys next February. That's the perfect time to come down here. The weather's absolutely spectacular. The sunsets are beautiful. It's amazing. We rented little Vespas and tooled around the island, which was an absolute blast. We've had a really good time. Mark says, sweating like a whore in church. You guys have no idea. I'm telling you, like just even trying to wear makeup down here, just trying to not look like you haven't showered in a week is near impossible. I've showered twice a day since I've been down here and I still feel dirty. It's brutal. 11 months of training just to find out cockfighting is for roosters. Oh my God. Yeah, sorry, Keith. No cockfighting for you. The last female whose name was Alexis was very mean to me. She's not even a friend. She was a complete snake in the grass. Thank you for making it friendly, Alexis. You're better than her. All right, let's not get all crazy. All right, let me run down everything else that's going on because the battery's going to die on this thing and I don't want the show to end before I'm ready. So this is what's going on down here. The organization is Task Force Dagger. If you want to look it up more, they're amazing. If you have any special operations in your family, friends, if they are special operators and they are in need of assistance, retired special operators, their families, Task Force Dagger is there to help them. And it's a veteran-run organization and they are amazing. So I am going to forego the cocktail recipe this week because all I've been doing is drinking, yeah, see the sweat coming off my glass? Yeah. Moscow mules and margaritas. It's just all about the M's while I've been down here. And you have to be careful because it's so friggin' hot that you'll just get wasted and fall down. So you got to hydrate down here, not even a joke. I want to recap last week's podcast. Last week, Billy Howardell from A Perfect Circle and Ashes Divide was my guest on the podcast, episode number 105. I loved having Billy on the podcast. I hope you guys loved the interview. I think he's a super fascinating guy. His new album, which is by Billy Howardell, so it's not falling under a band title this time. It's called What Normal Was. It came out last Friday. And if you were a fan, like I told you, of that early 80s electronic, music siding on the goth side, the Depeche Modes, the Cures, the Tears for Fears, you are going to absolutely love this album. If you haven't listened to Billy Howardell's episode yet, go back and check it out. He's a guy that I could literally talk to for hours. So open, so generous with his time, and just loves music, loves talking about music, and is just a really great guy. And I loved having him on the show. Christine says tomorrow is going to be hotter. Christine, please don't tell me that. They had this crazy thunderstorm that came through here today, and it was, when I tell you, pouring. The last 2 days, cruise ships have docked just for the day. And all of a sudden, 5,000 people just flooded Old Town Key West, and it was just crazy. And so there's just tourists everywhere. Because it's a military thing, everybody's been getting up super early. And so I have discovered that that's the trick to Key West. If all of the touristy things, the attractions you want to do, the earlier in the morning you get up to do them, the less crowded they are, because most people in Key West sleep in because they're hungover. So we've been getting up early, and my husband and the kids are yelling. They're in the pool back there. So getting up early in Key West, if you can do it, is the way to go to places like the southernmost point, the Hemingway Museum and Home, going to the Truman White House, just any of the stuff that you want to do like that. Get up early and do it before all the tourists and before the cruise ships disembark, because it gets crazy. It's hot, guys. I don't know how people live in this shit. I really don't. When people that live down here are like, how do you handle the snow? I would do the Nestea plunge into a snowdrift right now and be so happy, because I cannot stop sweating. It is so brutally hot. Early bird catches the cock, says Brett. It rains like hell in Florida almost every day. Got to get out early and beat the heat. That's exactly right. Florida's thunderstorms are epic. Hi, Mr. C and the kids. Yeah, they're having a blast in the pool right now. And it's been really cool to see the kids meeting other kids their age that have an understanding about the fact that they're not the only kids whose dad has gone a lot, whose dad has a job that they can't talk about. Like, it's been really interesting, and it's been an amazing experience, and I think they've been having an absolute blast. So I also want to let you guys know, just on a side note, that there is, I want to give you the exact name, so there is a Key West podcast that is the premier podcast of the Keys, that is run by people that live here, that interviews people that live here and interesting people that travel to the Keys. And it is called the Tom Flip Key West podcast. And when he found out I was coming down to the Keys, oh my God. When he found out I was coming down to the Keys, he reached out and asked if I would be a guest on his podcast. So we're actually going to record it tomorrow. So there is an upcoming episode of the Tom Flip Key West podcast that I am going to be a guest on, and I'm pretty excited to be able just to talk about, our experience in Key West, but also to be able to talk about Task Force Dagger is pretty cool. So I'm going to do that tomorrow, and my bonus son is coming with me, so that ought to be pretty interesting, because we are not going on the scuba diving trip tomorrow. So that should be an interesting day. So episode 105 features Billy Howardell, who is going to be in town in July at the Brighton Music Hall. Check the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com to get the details on that. Episode 106 of the podcast comes out at midnight tonight. So even though the sit rep is on vacation for the week, I really wanted to be able to focus as much of my time on my family as I could this week. But the podcast episode is already produced and going live at midnight. And obviously, I wanted to take time out of our amazing vacation to be able to hang out in the war room with you guys and to be able to tell you all about this event because it's pretty badass. But yes, it is hot as balls down here. Not even gonna lie. A bag of cocks, exactly. Swan dive into the pool, says Bish. Trust me. Can't wait to hear that podcast, says Paula. Cold winters send demonic animals back to hell or keep them from becoming dangerous. Florida is full of bugs and animals that I'm all set with. Seriously, guys, there's shit running around all over the place. Yes, so good. My bonus daughter just told me, and I don't want to tell you too much in case my husband watches this, but they had this amazing silent auction at the event, and we had to leave the event a little early so I could make the war room on time. But Father's Day's coming up, and there was something at the auction that we thought was really cool. So me and the kids had a little meeting, and we wanted to support the organization, and we wanted to take part in one of the auctions, and we just got a message that that we got the thing we bid on, and so Father's Day is all set. So we're really excited. Shh, can't say anything. He's over there. All right, so that is last week's podcast episode. And this week's podcast episode, I'm excited for you guys to hear. Episode 106 of the Mistress Carrie podcast goes live at midnight tonight. And it is with author and concert promoter Scott Alderman. Now, Scott is a transplanted New Yorker that is the founder, you guys will remember back in 2000, of the Tattoo the Earth tour. The infamous tour that featured everyone from Slipknot and Slayer and Seven Dust. Some shows had Stone Temple Pilots. The tour rolled into Giant Stadium and Metallica played. But it is one of the most notorious hard rock and heavy metal tours that has ever happened. And it was the focus of a very angry Sharon Osbourne. Well, Scott Alderman not only was the founder of Tattoo the Earth, but he's also an author. He's written a couple books, and his most recent book is called Caravan of Pain, The True Story of the Tattoo the Earth Tour. And the book is available everywhere. And so I talked to Scott because I had a fantastic time at Tattoo the Earth. WAF promoted it. It was at Suffolk Downs. The tour was amazing. And, sorry, I'm sweating. And he's my guest this week. So we talked all about the process of the writing of the book. We talked about him getting in the fight with Sharon Osbourne and how hard she worked to try and squash the Tattoo the Earth tour. We talked about all of the challenges and the drunken craziness. We talked about the amazing tattoo artists and the places like Massachusetts that couldn't tattoo. It's a really interesting episode. And the Tattoo the Earth tour has now turned into the Tattoo the Earth Festival, which is going to be held at the Palladium Outdoors at the end of August. Headliners include Anthrax and Black Label Society. And it's a one-off show this time. But if you listen to the episode, he has got plans for the future for Tattoo the Earth. And so this is just the start. But if you were at the Tattoo the Earth tour somewhere in the United States back in 2000, you've got to check out this book. It's called Caravan of Pain, The True Story of the Tattoo the Earth Tour, because there's a lot of hilarious stuff in there. And there's great pictures, the set list from all of the shows, the bands. There were certain bands like Cold Chamber that were supposed to be on the tour, but they were managed by Sharon Osbourne and they had to pull off, but all the signs still said that they were there. Just hilarious. So there's a lot of planes flying overhead. So if you have not read his book yet, even if you didn't get to the Tattoo the Earth tour, you're going to know all the bands that are featured in this book. The book's pretty hilarious. It's not that big. It's an easy read, and it's really fun. It's called Caravan of Pain, the true story of the Tattoo the Earth tour. It's available everywhere. You can get it on Amazon. But the author and founder of Tattoo the Earth, Scott Alderman, is my guest this week on the podcast. Normally, I would tell you, don't forget to listen to the sit rep, but the sit rep isn't going to return until this Monday. I took the week off from the sit rep so that I could just enjoy my vacation with the family. But starting back on Monday, the sit rep features all your rock news, music headlines, and industry info, all in under 5 minutes. And if you subscribe to the Mistress Carrie podcast, wherever you subscribe, you're automatically going to get the weekly episodes, and you're automatically going to get the sit rep episodes as well. And I told you guys that recently we changed podcast hosts. And so when you subscribe to the podcast, you're still going to get the episodes as normal. So if you subscribe on Apple, Google, Spotify, Odyssey, iHeart, Stitcher, Overcast, TuneIn, wherever it is that you're listening to podcasts, you're still going to get the episodes. However, in the coming weeks, we are going to get a lot more interesting info on the international audience, and also some more in-depth info on who and where people are listening to the podcast, not only around the world, but also here in the United States. Elsa, to be honest, I have not read how Ozzy is doing. He had massive surgery yesterday, and I have tried the best that I can. Fantasy Island, the plane went by, exactly. I have tried really hard to stay off my phone as much as possible. So I know that Ozzy is recovering from surgery, but I do not know his condition at this point. Here are just some reminders about some of the shows that are coming to town. I did not have the amount of time to produce the show this week as I normally have, because I have been trying to unplug as much as possible. But a reminder that Lamb of God and Killswitch Engage are going to be at the new MGM Music Hall at Fenway. These tickets went on sale this past Friday. So if you want to go to that show, the MGM that show's September 21st, by the way. The MGM also is the site of the Godsmack show, August 27th at the MGM Theater at Fenway. And those tickets are also on sale. The MGM is a brand new 5,000 seat theater. They have not even opened it to the public yet, but it is opening later this year. Tattoo the Earth, the festival is on August 17th at the Palladium Outdoors. It's the tour we were just talking about. Anthrax, Black Label Society, Hatebreed, At the Gates, Municipal Waste, and Forced are all in the lineup. And you will hear in this week's podcast episode, they have added a second stage to the show, and there are a ton more bands that are getting announced on the lineup. Stained is going to be at the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield on September 11th. Shinedown and Jelly Roll and John Harvey are coming up September 13th. Weird Al and Emo Phillips are continuing their tour on August 5th at Indian Ranch. Alice in Chains, Breaking Benjamin, and Bush are going to be at the Xfinity Center on October 8th. Ann Wilson at Indian Ranch on July 23rd. Aaron Lewis will be at Indian Ranch on September 3rd. Pause to wipe sweat. Seriously. Pussifer is coming up at the end of June, so we are like less than 2 weeks away from Pussifer at the House of Blues. Joe Satriani is going to be there November 5th at the Orpheum. Five Finger Death Punch, Megadeth, The Who, and Fire from the Gods September 18th at the Xfinity Center. And at the end of August, the new Five Finger Death Punch album, Afterlife, is coming out. AWOL Nation will be at the House of Blues on October 23rd. Hailstorm, The Pretty Reckless, The Warning, and Lilith Czar are going to be at the Leader Bank Pavilion July 19th. ZZ Top will be there a few days later on July 22nd. Extreme, who are getting back together to open up for Aerosmith at Fenway on September 8th, will be at Indian Ranch on September 2nd and headlining the Hampton Beach Casino Ballroom on September 3rd. And the Red Hot Chili Peppers will be at Fenway on September 10th. Flogging Molly and the Interrupters at the Leader Bank Pavilion July 1st. Rob Zombie, Mudvayne, Powerman 5000, and Static X will be at the Xfinity Center on July 30th. And by the way, if you haven't seen the little teaser trailer that Rob Zombie released of like the intro of the Munsters, you can get a good look at what the cast is going to look like. That's pretty cool. The stadium tour at Fenway coming up August 5th and 6th. Collective Soul, Switchfoot will be co-headlining at Indian Ranch on August 6th. And Ghost, Mastodon, and Spirit Box will be at the Dunkin' Donuts Center on September 12th. Guys, it's hot. The Black Crows will be at Tanglewood at the end of the month. Blondie and the Damned at the Leader Bank Pavilion August 14th. Evanescence and Korn are going to be co-headlining the Xfinity Center at the end of August as well, August 26th. The Bob Saget documentary debuted just a few days ago on June 10th, if you haven't checked that out. And the Norm Macdonald Netflix documentary is available as well. Want to remind you about a couple of events before I get out of here. Do not forget about the Hair Fest, the 4th annual 100 FM The Pike Hair Fest, July 30th at Indian Ranch. The next day, the Pike is presenting Tesla, July 31st. And then coming up in the fall, Rock Fest is happening September 10th at Indian Ranch. Those tickets are all on sale for all of those shows. And I also want to put a plug in. I am going to be at their open house. I'm talking about American Harley Davidson from 11 to 1, a couple Saturdays from now. Saturday, June 25th, I'll be at American Harley Davidson in Leominster. So if you want to come and hang out with me, that is where I am going to be. All of the shows, all of the events, everything you need to know is up on the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. Also want to remind you guys, let me tell you what, if you're coming to Key West anytime soon, you need a friggin' tank top or 12. And they're available in the store at mistresscarrie.com. I'm telling you, unless you're naked, you're wearing too many clothes. And if you're naked, you're sunburned in places you shouldn't be exposing the sun. And I also, if you're celebrating your birthday today on June 14th, happy birthday. If you're celebrating your birthday today, happy birthday. Happy unbirthday, Keith, by the way. Chris DeGarmo from Queensryche celebrating his birthday today. Boy George from Culture Club, born on this date, and also Alan White from Yes, all celebrating, or we're all born on this date, not celebrating their birthdays. And to everyone with a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, I want to say what's up. I've been trying as hard as I can to put up as many pictures as I can. There are more pictures. A couple more photo dumps are coming in the next couple of days. So keep your eyes on my Patreon page. But if you have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, you get exclusive live streams. Guys, by the way, it's not happening this Sunday because I'm going to be traveling. We are going to set up a live stream for later on this month, but it is not this Saturday. You also get to submit podcast interview questions. You get the travel blog updates, and there's more updates coming with, by the way, a ton of recommendations. So if you have a Backstage Pass and you are getting ready to make a trip to Key West, I have a ton of recommendations on where to go to eat, what tours and museums to go to, where to get drinks, and the family is doing the Key Lime Pie Challenge. We are getting key lime pie every day from a different place, and at the end of the week, we are going to vote on who we thought had the best key lime pie in Key West. So I will have definite recommendations for the best key lime pie on the island. So you can always get travel updates and suggestions if you have a Backstage Pass. And you also get exclusive concert ticket giveaways as well. A lot of, Walter, get the sweat rags, says Bish. Dude, you have no idea. It's like being, usually I say when it's hot, it's like being in someone's mouth. This is like being tucked in someone's sweaty armpit. It is so hot. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I literally have been keeping, they have really nice paper towels down here, and I've been keeping one folded in my pocket because I just keep sweating and I can't stop. And I never realized how sweaty of a person I was, but it's really friggin' hot down here. So if you have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, I'm going to have a ton of travel suggestions for you. You get access to the concert tickets, and a lot of people have been chiming in tonight because either people from the War Room or people with Backstage Passes got to see Sammy Hagar and George Thorogood last night, and I am so happy that you guys had such a great time. Usually, all of the tickets that I get given are in the same area, so I love the fact that War Room family members, Backstage Pass holders are all getting to sit with each other and to be able to meet the people that they've been commenting with over and over again here in the War Room online. So that's pretty awesome. Christine says the weather this week is gross here. I am coming home with tan lines, octopus suction cups on my shoulders, and probably the most exfoliated pores of any human being on the planet because I just can't stop sweating. Happy birthday to all of the June 17th peeps. We have a great birthday, Ash. Happy early birthday for you. You need one of those menopause fans. Christina, I'm not even in menopause, and if this is what hot flashes feel like, this sucks. It's hot. Ugh, brutal. Okay, want to remind you guys about all of my social media handles. I've been pretty quiet on social media this week, although I am putting up some photos. Like I said, when I'm away with the family, I really try my hardest to unplug and to focus on my family and to unwind and take time off, which is really hard to do sometimes. But we don't get together all that often, and we don't get an experience like we've had like this all that often. And so I've been really trying to focus on that and to enjoy it the best I can. And so I am so grateful for everyone at Task Force Dagger, for all of the volunteers, all of the amazing families that we've met along the way. And so I've been really trying to unplug and just focus on making amazing memories and sharing a lot of stories. And I'm going to have so many more stories to share with you when I get home. But I really wanted to be able to take a little while and to be able to take you guys on vacation with me a little bit. And that's the point of the War Room, right? Is for us to get together and be supportive and to celebrate the good times as much as we console each other through the bad times. And over the last 2+ years, we've had a lot of bad times. Things have been hard, not only with COVID, but just with everything else. And so it's really nice to be able to come in the War Room or the War Room in Key West with palm trees and to be able to share happy times with you guys, because these are the times that we waited for during the lockdown. These are the times that we hoped would come, that we would be able to enjoy. And so here we are. So thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. Keep your eyes on my Facebook page, my Instagram. I will definitely be sharing more pictures of my my trip. I just got the alert that the computer is going to shut itself down soon because the battery is going to die. So I'm going to run. But keep your eyes on the socials. The Sit Rep kicks back off on Monday morning, and episode 106 of the Mistress Carrie podcast goes live at midnight tonight, featuring author and concert festival promoter Scott Alderman. Check out his book, Caravan of Pain, The True Story of the Tattoo the Earth Tour. And you can also check out Tattoo the Earth, this year's festival at the Palladium Outdoors, coming in August. All right, guys. I love you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight. I will see you soon. And cheers. All right. Good night, guys. I'm going to go jump in the pool.